Gents, I'm going to stir something up.
Oh, baby.
Speak dirty.
No. It's this guy over there. I just know that what I'm going to say is going to rile up the analytics community.
Uh-oh.
And that's a tight-knit community because they know the numbers, they know the math, they know the odds, they know the
nerds.
They know they know the whole spiel backwards and forwards, and then folks like me stroll in and institute words like gut and feel and things of that nature, and
I think
that's when things can clash. No, there's always a balance.
Definitely have a
and
balance.
even the analytics community admits there's a balance. But I tweeted this out during the London game between the Jaguars and the Patriots.
Okay.
And I said, I just do not understand going for two before you have to. Because the Patriots did that in London. You remember what I'm talking about in this game? The Patriots went for two in this game, didn't get it, and now needed to get an extra score, right? They tried to get it down to 7 when all they had to do was get it down to 8, and they missed it, and now they're at 9. And I'm like, why are we doing that? And the answer I always get back from the analytics community is because you now know what you need. Rather than leaving it up to fate at the very end, if you don't make the two at the very end to tie it, now you're screwed. But if you do it early enough, you know that you have to go for it multiple times. You know the play calls it. You have a better roadmap of how to map out your final quarter or your fate. And my answer to that is, if you just went for the extra point and you made it a one-score game that does require you to go for two at the end, doesn't that put the pressure on Jacksonville to have to actually make the plays to make sure you don't get the ball back? Doesn't that now, to your benefit, say the comeback is on, momentum's on our side? You know what I'm saying?
I do.
On this front?
I do. Jacksonville also had a weird situation in that game where Doug went for it on the goal line, up 14 when he could have just kicked a field goal and made it a 3-score game. Kind of left the door slightly open for New England. But in terms of what you're saying early in the game, I really don't get it either. I would rather just take points. Like when teams, go for it. Do it kind of going back to the NFC Championship game, TJ, where Dan Campbell doesn't take the field goals, doesn't take the points.
Would have put them in the Super Bowl.
I would say get as many points as you can, especially in the first half.
Well, I mean, Tampa just did it on Monday night when Bucky Irving scored with 3:46 to go. They went for two, and missed it.
Yeah, they did.
Instead of, and now they're down 17 instead of being down 16. And I'm like, but there's so to say you're doing it to try and know what you have to do the rest of the game.
At that point, there's 4 minutes left. Who
right.
cares?
So why are we doing it? Because at this point in time, you need possessions to be as few as possible for you. And what ended up happening for the Patriots, they didn't get it. And now, so you need to know what you have. But now you need the ball back twice as opposed to back once. Isn't that the benefit? And I know when I'm saying this right now, there have to be some analytics people hearing what I'm saying, just shaking their heads going, you don't know the math, you don't know the odds, you don't know what you're talking about. But to me, there is a concept of taking the easier points, the less risky points, and putting the other team back on the field with the pressure of knowing momentum's not on their side. And they have to make sure we don't get the ball back once. Now Jacksonville goes out there and goes, oh, we'll just run the ball. We'll just take some time off the clock because we now know you need 2 possessions. And all the momentum just went out of Wembley. That's the way I looked at it. So I tweet out, I will never understand going for points, going for 2 until you absolutely must do it. And I got back to, well, you need to now, this way, if you get it, now you only need 1 point. And if you get it, if you don't get it, you now know what you need to have. But what if now knowing what you need to have is not to your benefit?
Right.
Because you need still 2 scores.
Yeah.
Instead of making it a 1-score game and rolling the one time you roll the dice is the one time you have to have it. And the idea is like, well, why not roll the dice when you don't have to have it? So now you know what you have to have. I don't get it. Am I explaining it right? Because, again, I think I'm explaining it right here.
I think there's a good mix of when to do it and when to not. I'm with you for the first half at least. Like, don't give away points in the first half.
But even in the second half.
Even in early third quarter, you don't need to go for 2 when, you see sometimes teams do it. They'll go for 2 if they're up by 6 or whatever. Or up by 5, they go for 2.
It would have been 25-17 with 8:22 to go in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
Instead, they go for 2, and they're down by 9 with 8:22 to go. Oh, well, now you at least know you need 2 more possessions. But in my estimation, it's like
1.
We only needed 1 if we went for the extra point with 8:22 to go. And you put Jacksonville back out there on the field saying if we go 3 and out or 6 and out, we're giving them a chance to go back now and go down the field and tie the game. So they're going to play a little tighter as opposed to, well, we got 9 points now. And sure enough, let me make sure I get this right because I know the analytics people are very buckled up with their information. Sure enough, the Jacksonville Jaguars took 4:20 off the clock.
Yeah.
8 plays, Bigsby run.
Yeah, we couldn't stop him.
But so that's another reason why you have to know. So if they took 4:24 off the clock, right? The Patriots got the ball back with 3:58 to go and only 1 possession. That's all they need. Isn't that a better setup? I've made my point.
I think so.
I think it is. But the idea is like, oh, you don't want to have a situation where if you go for 2 with 10 seconds to go and you don't get it, your game's over. If you go for 2 now, there's more of a runway to have an ability to make it up.
I'm trying to find if there's like a chart or something that
there must be. And again, that's the whole thing is that why analytics people are hearing this conversation, they might be like, what there's an orifice you're talking out of, and it's not the one that's attached to your mouth. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.